Hi, I'm Phyllis from southernfrugal.com. This morning, while it's still cool, because it's supposed to get up into, I think they said 93 degrees today, but we're supposed to have low humidity, but still, what I'm going to do is fix I'll call it a small milk chocolate pound cake. And I'm making it just in a regular loaf pan, and you want to really grease it really well and just sprinkle it with flour. Alright, we've got our oven preheating at 350 degrees. Alright, we're ready to get started. Actually, I don't think I cut my oven on. Hold on. Now I did. Okay, so we're going to start out with 1 cup of butter or 2 sticks. And you want those at room temperature. Now I put mine in the microwave just on defrost and let it get sort of at room temperature. So to that we're going to add 1 2/3 cups of just regular sugar. Now I do use the extra fine sugar because I find that works better in cakes. It just dissolves a lot faster. Alright, so we're going to mix that up with the sugar. So hold on. We'll be right back. Okay, so we've got our butter and our sugar creamed together. Now we're going to use German sweet chocolate, and I'm using 6 of those little squares. So out of 1 pack of the German chocolate, you can make 2 of these small pound cakes. Now to this, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of milk, just regular whole milk, and I'm going to put this in the microwave to melt it, so we'll be right back. Alright, so I put this in the microwave for about 30 seconds on high, just to get it melted in with the milk. And then just stir it around and, get it all melted as best you can. Alright, that ought to do it. Now we're going to go ahead and dump that in to this butter and sugar mixture. If y'all hear the lawnmower going, Mr. Buggy's out on that side of the house mowing the lawn, so we'll just have to put up with that until he gets through. Alright, so now I'm going to mix this all in. I'm going to use my spatula to stir this around a little bit. Now we're going to do a lot more mixing, so you don't have to be too concerned right here with having it perfect. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and add 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and I'm going to go ahead and put my vanilla in. So this is going to take 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Just want to use pure vanilla extract. You want 1 whole teaspoon. Okay, I'm going to mix that in just a little bit. And now we're going to mix this little pound cake up a little bit different than you normally mix up cakes, in that we're going to go ahead and put in 1/2 of our flour. Now this is 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and what you do is sift it first and then measure it, because that way the measurements will be right. So we're going to put in just about 1/2 that, or about 1 cup of it. Go ahead and mix that in. And I just do this with the spatula because you're going to do some more mixing here in a minute. So, okay, that's sort of got that flour incorporated now. And now it's time to add the eggs. So we're going to use 5 eggs, and these are large eggs, and we're going to add them one at a time. And I'm just going to go ahead and break them right into the batter. See if I can find a place to put the eggshells. I'll put them right there in that little bowl. All right, just going to mix it in a little bit. Okay, time for the next one. Add the third one. And I break them in like that. That way if I get any eggshells, I can, in the mixture, I can see it right away. Okay, that's the fourth one. Ready for the 5th egg. And the eggs were at room temperature, by the way. Let me move you closer so you can see this. There. Scrape down the sides of the bowl now. Now this cake recipe does not call for any leavening such as baking powder or baking soda, because what happens is the eggs actually are what causes the cake to rise, and it also gives it a really, really nice texture. I mean, it's a pound cake, okay? Okay, let's add our flour now. So this is the other cup, the cup that was left of the flour. And just put a little bit of that in and just mix it in with the spatula. A little more. And we'll dump the rest of it in. Yeah, so Mr. Bucky had enough energy this morning that he decided he would do some mowing. So I would say he's recovering nicely from his little bout with the food poisoning. I mean, it was a battle really for a while, but he's a lot better now. Almost back to normal. All right, now we're going to put the mixer in this for just a little bit, not much, just a little bit. Ready to dump this into the little loaf pan, and this is a large Pyrex loaf pan. So we're just going to dump the mixture in. Now this little pound cake, of course, works out great, you know, for just 2 people or even 4 people. It would work out great. So you're not making the big tube pan type of pound cake. Now we're going to bake this at 350 degrees for about 55 minutes, or until it tests done. When you put a toothpick down in the middle of it, the toothpick should come out clean. Okay, now I don't like the really dark chocolate, and so that's really why I'm calling this milk chocolate. And this is my recipe that I've been using for a number of years now. And it's really taken from the lemon pound cake recipe. I just substitute the chocolate and the 2 tablespoons of milk for the lemon juice. In fact, I do a lot of little pound cakes like this. Spice, I do one out of oranges, making an orange pound cake, and spice pound cake. I think I've already done videos on the lemon. I'm just getting every last bit of this out of that bowl. All right, so now we're going to put a little bit of a glaze on this after it's done. It's not like icing, it's going to be more of a glaze. So I held back 2 little pieces of, or 2 little squares of the German chocolate. And again, this packet is enough to make 2 of these little pound cakes, and the chocolate will keep, of course. So, all right, so we're going to go ahead and put this in the oven. We'll see y'all back here in an hour or so. I want to come back just for a minute. Let me back up and talk to y'all a little bit about disinfecting after you've cooked anything where you've used raw eggs. Now, in the previous part of the video, I was cracking the eggs, and then I would wipe my hand on a dishcloth. And so that dishcloth is going to go in the wash. I do change my dishcloths every single day, sometimes twice a day. But so I've gotten a new dishcloth, and I'm going to just spray it with some of the Lysol antibacterial. Now, in order for this to really kill all the germs, it needs to sit for about 10 minutes. So one of the things that I touched while I was making this cake was the top of the mixer, and I had a little bit of the egg on my finger, so I disinfect the mixer on the handle, and also where I laid the spoons down, disinfect that, and I just leave it on here, and just wait for about 10 minutes, and then come back in and wipe it off. Yeah. All right, I just wanted to add that, just because when you're making a cake or anything with raw eggs, you should never taste of it, ever, because people have gotten very, very sick from eggs, as you probably already know. There have been many reports in the news about that. I don't think I've read anything or seen anything on TV recently, but there are a lot of cases, and since Mr. Bucky had food poisoning, he did get it from a restaurant, and I did read up on all of that, and it seems that the Center for Disease Control in Atlanta reported that 50% of all cases of food poisoning that are reported to them have come from salad bars in restaurants. That tells you something, right? And of course, that's exactly where Mr. Bucky got his food poisoning, because he ate the pasta salad on a salad bar. And other than that, me and him both ate exactly the same thing that day. And I didn't get sick, and he got very sick. 10 days in the hospital, and he's still recovering. And that happened, I think it was April the 12th. And he really, at one point, was in pretty serious condition, all from food poisoning from a salad bar from a restaurant. So anyway, I just wanted to just give you the tips on when you put raw eggs in anything. Be careful what you do with your hands, what you touch, and then just disinfect everything. Now I even disinfect the bowl that the cake batter was in, and then I put it in the dishwasher. Then I disinfect my sinks. So it just pays to be, I know I'm a little bit of a what do you call it? Germaholic? I don't know what you call it. But I'm a bit that way, but I've always been that way. But just to say, don't taste anything like cookie dough or cake batter that's got raw eggs in it, because you just take a chance when you do that. Now, probably most all eggs are okay, but some of them aren't. And if you get a hold of one that isn't, and you can't taste it or see it or anything, then it's going to make you sick. So just don't do it. Just, assume the cake mix is okay or the cake batter is okay, and taste it when the cake gets done. Yeah, taste it when the cake gets done. All right, that's my little spill on that. So we'll be back when this cake gets done. Okay, I just took the cake out of the oven, and mine did have to actually cook a little over an hour. See how it puffs way up? Now it's going to shrink back some, but we're going to let it cool for probably maybe 30-45 minutes, and then I'm going to make just a little bit of a glaze to go over it. So we'll be back. All right, we are back, and the cake is all cooled, and well, it's actually still just a teeny bit warm, but we're going to make a little glaze to go on it, or a little icing, you might say. So I'm going to use about maybe a little over a tablespoon of butter. I'm going to melt that in this little pot. Oops, a little too hot. Turn that down. And I'm going to put my 2 little pieces of the German chocolate, 2 little squares, right in with the butter. And I'm just going to melt that. And I'm going to just keep stirring it because you don't want it to burn. Just until it's barely melted. Alright, that ought to be good enough. There's what it looks like. I'll go ahead and cut that butter off now. And I'm going to add about maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons of just whole milk. It's about 3 tablespoons. I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla extract, about a half a teaspoon maybe. And then we're going to add to that some confectionery sugar. And I'm not sure how much, maybe a cup. Looks like about a cup. We'll see if we need a little more, because I want it to be more of a glaze than an icing. Just beat that for a little bit and get any lumps out of it. Let me get my little whisk. Hold on. There it is. Just use a whisk and get any lumps out. So see, it's not very much, just enough to glaze the pound cake. Probably good And I'm just going to drizzle this over the cake. Keep a little clothespin on my confectionery sugar. Works great. All right. So I'm just going to, let me get a clean spoon. Hold on. I'm just going to drizzle this right over the top of the cake. Now I'm going to have to use my fingers because the top is over a little far, and it's going to, you know, just drip on my little wax paper there. So I'm going to have to use my hand to get it up on the side, or maybe I can use a spatula. Yeah, I can use a spatula. And all I want is just a little bit of a coating on the pound cake. This is just to help keep it moist. Now it's going to be very moist because of all the butter in the cake anyway. Turn it around on this side. Get all that out of there. So yeah, as it was running down, I'm just picking it up with the spatula and rubbing it back up on the cake. And the cake is still just ever the slightest bit warm. Yeah, I do see some lumps of confectionery sugar still in there, but that's okay. And it helps to get this spread on this little pound cake if the cake is still just slightly warm. Okay, let's see if I can get some on this end now. And again, this glaze is just going to help keep the cake moist. And I did let it cool in the pan for, I guess, probably 45 minutes. It might have even been an hour. Okay, so I think we pretty well got it all covered now. Yeah, just a little bit of, it's sort of an icing type glaze, excuse me, glaze really. All right. Now I'm going to have to cut this right now. I've got it on wax paper. All right, so let's see what this looks like. Yeah, gonna have to have some of this right away. I'm not gonna have the end piece on because I want y'all to see the texture of it. Going to be very moist. There it is, super moist. And it's really very milk chocolate. All right. Now what I will do is slice this, the rest of this cake. I'm going to save out Mr. Bucky a piece. I think he's still outside. And we'll put this in the freezer and enjoy it really probably for the next 6 weeks. You know, that's how long I keep them. Okay, here goes. Very moist and just slightly chocolate. It's not that deep chocolate. It's a very light chocolate. Okay. Let me give you a close-up of it. Turn my light on. There you go. It's very, very moist because of all the butter that's in it. And what causes it to have that texture is we've also got 5 eggs in it. All right, so there it is. All right, we will see y'all next time. I wanted to give y'all the recipe on the video so I don't have to write it all down below. Anyway, this is small milk chocolate pound cake. So it's 1 cup of butter or 2 sticks at room temperature, 1 2/3 cups of sugar, 2 cups of sifted all-purpose flour, and you want to sift that before you measure it. 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract, and 5 large eggs. And you want to use 6 little small squares of the German sweet chocolate, and add to that 2 tablespoons of milk. You want to just put that in the microwave and melt it, which will just melt in seconds. So you cream together the butter, sugar, salt, vanilla, and the chocolate mixture that you've melted. Then you want to add 1/2 of the flour and mix that in well. Then add the eggs one at a time. Then add the remaining flour. And you want to grease and flour a large loaf pan, and you might want to put some of the parchment paper in the bottom of that pan. And you want to bake it in a preheated oven at 350 degrees for 55 minutes, or until a toothpick inserted in the middle of it comes out clean. And for the glaze, 2 small squares of the German chocolate, and I used a little over a tablespoon of butter and 2 tablespoons of milk, and then just add confectionery sugar till you make it the consistency that you want. Now mine, I probably didn't add but maybe 1 1/4 cups of confectionery sugar. Okay, so there it is. All right, I want to show you the cake. I ate the other piece because Mr. Bucky's not in here, so I ate the end piece plus a piece. And what I'll end up doing is I'm going to slice him off a piece. There go my dogs. And then I'm going to slice the rest of it, and I will freeze it. And then we just take it out, you know, as we want some. Now the reason I do that is because of myself. I will come in and eat cake every time I pass through the kitchen if I don't freeze it. It's just the way I am. I love sweets and I love chocolate, but chocolate does make me a little hyper. All right, so there it is. I hope y'all will try this. It's a great little pound cake. All right, so there it is for sure. We'll see y'all next time.